first off, it was a wonderful speech. The Prime Minister was very funny, a lot of good humor in the speech. A reminder of just how large the country of India is, how large the economy is, how fast it is growing. But most importantly, the most important part of the speech is the enduring friendship and partnership, economic partnership, defense partnership between the United States and India. And it was a good reminder for Congress and the American people.
Well, I think, it's important. This is an important relationship. And I think the most important message that the Prime Minister made is that these are two very strong democracies. India, the largest democracy on the planet. And as democracies, we have a special obligation to demonstrate how democracies function, how we can grow and be inclusive at the same time, because we're in competition with other forms of government that take advantage of their form of government. So I think the Prime Minister really made that point very clearly, and I was happy that he did.
I thought it was wonderful. I think it's always important for the United States to have direct contact and trying to build the ties a little closer to our democratic partners. Particularly India is such an important country as a democracy in an area that's of great strategic importance to the United States.
You also mentioned about the common global challenges that both India and the United States face. What will you say?
Sure. I think that we're in a global environment where there are rivals who are attempting to thwart our democratic principles. And so I think that our renewed commitment to each one of us to our democracy is extremely important during this time, as we see the rise, as the Prime Minister said, of terrorism, the rise of those who are attempting to go into areas, particularly, as he put it, in the global south, to try and exert influence over those areas. That it's important for us to have strong economies, to support supply chains as well as resiliency.
It was a fantastic speech talking about the unity between the United States and India on all things. First, talking about technology, all of our economic ties we have together, also our military ties that we have between the two countries, and also our joint efforts to curb the aggression from Communist China with the Quad. I thought was a very important statement on his behalf. He also talked a little bit about the Russian invasion into Ukraine on a global stage, and how the United States and India have to stand together against aggression that threatens sovereign nations. But I think more than anything, he talked about the future and the future alliance between the United States and India, how great that's going to be. And it was a very moving speech. It was great to have all the American Indians in the gallery who were so passionate about this man. You get the sense that he is very, almost like godlike in his own country, and it was very moving. The whole experience, just very moving experience.
Inspiring again. And I was here in 2016. I had the opportunity to be at the Red Fort in 2018. I was at Howdy Modi when the Prime Minister came to Texas. I was in New York when he spoke at Madison Square Garden. And every time, the message from the Prime Minister is very positive and very exciting to see the relationship between the United States and India, the world's largest democracy, the world's oldest democracy. Working together, we benefit.
Right. So he also mentioned about the common global challenges. He also mentioned about the solar capacity and all. What are your views on that?
Well, I was particularly grateful the Prime Minister referenced territorial integrity. That is so important that with the war that Putin is conducting, war criminal Putin against the people of Ukraine, we need to have territorial integrity. That applies around the world. And we know the disputes that can be between the People's Republic of China and Republic of India, and the boundaries should be respected. And hey, this is the 21st century. There should be no more land wars.
How do you see Prime Minister Modi as a global leader? Because there was chants of Modi, Modi when he arrived and when he departed.
Well, it is a great enthusiasm, and the Indian American community is so beloved in America and my home state. In fact, we had the first female governor who was Indian American, and that's Nikki Randhawa Haley. And so over and over again, the Indian American community is beloved and has been so successful. The immigrant group in America that has the highest per capita income of all immigrant group, with the highest percentage of millionaires, are people of Indian heritage.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for speaking to us.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I thought he gave a very nice speech, and he talked about the partnership that we have between our two countries, the challenges that we face, and how we can do much more together. And he talked about the history of our relationship, and I thought it was very effective.
How do you see the relationship between India and US in terms of defense? Because he also mentioned that United States has become one of our most important defense partners. How do you see that relationship going forward?
I thought it was a very good statement. I served in the military myself. This partnership is very important. We're facing a lot of challenges throughout the world. He mentioned the Indo-Pacific theater for us, China, and the issues that we face. And although he didn't specifically use words of escalation, he talked about the importance of it. I totally agree with him.
Well, it was a very powerful speech. It was uniting. It gave a good vision of the future of the world and the partnership that we have with India. And it was clearly the message that we wanted to hear, especially in the globally complicated times that we're living with China and Russia and other countries that we're having trouble. It's nice to know that India is a friend, and that the Prime Minister came here to let us know that, and that they are an ally, and that they're the world's largest democracy, and that they're with us.
So he also mentioned about sectors like space, science, and semiconductor startups. How do you see that relationship going forward?
Well, I think it's going to be a global partnership that's important for the United States, and important for India as well. We have a lot of great Indian Americans that live in our communities and have done some great things in this country, and now we have members of Congress and our Vice President. So I think it was a beautiful, uniting message that the Prime Minister brought to America.
Well, first off, it was a wonderful speech. The Prime Minister was very funny, a lot of good humor in the speech. A reminder of just how large the country of India is, how large the economy is, how fast it is growing. But most importantly, the most important part of the speech is the enduring friendship and partnership, economic partnership, defense partnership between the United States and India. And it was a good reminder for Congress and the American people.
Well, I think, it's important. This is an important relationship. And I think the most important message that the Prime Minister made is that these are two very strong democracies. India, the largest democracy on the planet. And as democracies, we have a special obligation to demonstrate how democracies function, how we can grow and be inclusive at the same time, because we're in competition with other forms of government that take advantage of their form of government. So I think the Prime Minister really made that point very clearly, and I was happy that he did.